Hello and welcome back to another video where I try to explain new ID kits. This time around, it sure is section 3 Faust. The way to read her kit is divided into two, her normal skills and her mental gymnastic gimmick skill, which is called Poise Glimmer. Starting from her real skills, which will inflict bleed and gain poise since she's a Blois ID, and will scale based off poise on self and bleed on the enemy. Her skill 2 and 3, on the other hand, will deal more damage for every arrow she spent, which I will just say arrow until the end because arrow she is too long. Then, her mental gymnastic of skill, her skill 3 too, which I think is a better suited as a skill 4 instead, since it doesn't really fall from skill 3 like other skill 3 do. This skill needs a status, or mode, I guess, which is called Ready to Lose. If you have Ready to Lose, the leftmost base attack skill that you choose will change into skill 3-2 instead, and use it on the combat start, which some people speculate it might deal damage straight away, and not when it's Faust's turn to hit. The only way to get Ready to Lose is to use her defensive skills, which requires you to have arrow, or else it will just be evade. Her defense skill will give you Ready to Lose, and even target aim as well, that are used to give more coin power and more damage, but will lose more poise potency that way. How you'll get target aim is a little bit unique. So, if you have more than X amount of arrow and Faust doesn't have the Ready to Lose status, she will gain Ready to Lose and target aim. But if she has Ready to Lose, she needs to not use any attack skills that turn to gain target aim, even egos. This means that double slotting her is not great, since if you want to stack target aim, which you probably won't if you use her defense skill another time, you'll have to defend using both of her skill slots, but she will gain a shield, so I think that's a fine trade. Her skill 3-2 will also remove all Ready to Lose and target aim stacks, so you can't really spam this. By this exchange, you will inflict lodge arrow, and lose, which I hope, an arrow, since, the arrow is lodged into the enemy. We won't talk about the life render because it's so bad for what it does, which is just gain offense level and final power for a turn where you cannot use skill 3-2 again on the skill 3, and that is if you have 2 skill 3 on your slot, or you convert other skill other than skill 3. After reading her skills, there are no mention of her gaining arrow, right? Which is why we thought that Faust will come with a certain number of arrow, which we'd assume it's 4 because, she, and will go down to 0 unless she kills her target. Because the lodge arrow, if the enemy dies, retreat, or cleanse the status, will refund Faust the arrow spent. Her lodge arrow will give bleed based on the stack and fragility as well if have a certain number of lodge arrow lodged into the enemy. Moving on to the passive, if Faust have X or more arrow, she will gain poise count when she gain poise potency. Faust will also gain slash damage up next turn when using her skill 3-2 if Faust have X target aim or more. Moving on to the most mental gymnastic part, which is this part right here. So what this say is basically, if you have max target aim and does not have skill 3 on your slot, your defense will be skill 3 instead and will be converted into skill 3-2 instead of just another defense skill. Why is this important? Because depending on the skill you convert, it have a different result, similar to some discard IDs in a way. Skill 1 gain base power. Skill 1 gain base power and deal more damage. Skill 2 is the same as skill 1 with coin power, and I'd assume skill 3 gain even more than skill 2. While I am kind of disappointed with how she works compared to other Shi IDs, this ID is still in a very weird spot at the moment, cause we have a feeling that her skill 3-2 will deal a lot of damage with her requirement, yet she can't really attack and have to basically defend spam. But then, I think her normal kit will work fine even without her skill 3-2. hence me saying that Faust have two separate kits combined into one, which is her normal skill rotations and her skill 3 to spam rotations. Overall, as always, we will need to see the number, but currently I am not happy with this, especially due to, in my opinion, poor wordings or term use that might make this more confusing than a lot of units. For example, why is it skill 3 2 if it doesn't get enhanced from skill 3 like other units are? Why does it have a color if the scene affinity is based on the converted skill you use? Amongst with some other terms or sentences that could be more clear in my opinion. But if you're wondering how will this ID fare on Mirror Dungeon, I would recommend you to watch this video made by Silou instead, which will explain how her kit will work in Mirror Dungeon. Link is on the description below. But at the end of the day, this will not beat Faust, so take that as you will.